Hello and thank you for joining us for another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. There's a lot to unfold. Thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. The news comes up in just a moment.
The National Census is an opportunity to help develop your community and create a brighter future for your family. The information gathered from the census is used to make important decisions about where to put facilities like clinics, stores, and new roads. So be seen and be counted for your family's future. Census Day is September 12th. Look out for the national census takers in your community and let them know you count.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 9, 2022. A 12-day period of mourning is now in effect for the island following Thursday's passing of the country's head of state, Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. The period of mourning began on Thursday and will end on September 19. During this period, all flags on public buildings should be flown at half-mast and no celebratory activities should take place. A day of mourning will be observed on September 18, and the public is advised that only authorized activities related to the day will be approved. All social events will be postponed on the day of mourning. A release from the Office of the Prime Minister says from September 12 to 19, condolence books will be opened at King's House and at the offices of the custodies in all parishes. Members of the public may sign the books between September 13 and 19, with September 12 reserved for dignitaries. In addition, on Saturday, September 10, all flags will be fully hoisted between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. to mark the proclamation of King Charles as the new monarch. The Jamaica Defense Force will deliver a 21-gun salute at 11 a.m. to mark King Charles's ascension to the throne. The OPM says further announcements will be made regarding the holding of the National Memorial Service and other official parish services. Queen Elizabeth II passed away on Thursday at age 96. Prime Minister Andrew Holness expressed condolences on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica.
I'm sure we'll all agree that the Queen was a portrait of dignity in how she conducted the affairs of state, and she remains an exemplar in leadership. May her soul rest in peace.
Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen has also expressed sadness at the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. In his statement, the Governor-General remarked that even through her declining years and ill health, the late monarch battled valiantly to the end, adding that she had been a standard-bearer of poise and grace. Sir Patrick expressed admiration for Her Majesty's strong sense of duty and lifelong devotion to the service of others, which he says characterized her reign, even into modern times, and impacted the Commonwealth immensely. The Governor-General has extended sympathies to the royal family, the government and people of the United Kingdom, and the Commonwealth. Meanwhile, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Judith Slater, has similarly expressed that the Queen's death is a great loss, but that her legacy will be long-lasting. In paying tribute, High Commissioner Slater says Her Majesty championed the development of the Commonwealth from a small group of 7 countries to a family of 56 nations, spanning every continent of the world. She adds that the Queen, who first visited Jamaica the year after ascending the throne and most recently in 2002, retained a deep affection for this beautiful island, its unique character, and the warmth of its people throughout her life. During her reign, she visited more than 100 countries and touched the lives of millions around the world. With her death, the crown passes to His Majesty King Charles III. In other news, persons facing gun charges will not be able to benefit from plea bargain arrangements unless they provide solid information to the Crown that will lead to the seizure of firearms or arrest of others involved in criminal activities using illegal guns. The provision is being made in the new Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022. Clause 117 of the Act speaks to the amendment of other pieces of legislation to prohibit judges from reducing sentences for persons who have pleaded guilty, namely the Criminal Justice Plea Negotiations and Agreements Act and the Criminal Justice Administration Act. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang opened the debate on the new Firearms Act in Parliament on Tuesday.
This will encourage offenders to provide critical information to support the state in tackling the proliferation of illicit firearms and other transnational organized criminal activities.
Allowance has also been made for the sentencing judge to issue a certificate to the offender to seek leave to appeal the sentence in the Court of Appeal. This is in a case where the judge believes the imposed sentence is manifestly excessive and unjust. Minister Chang says the proposed amendments seek to reduce acts of criminal violence in the country.
We are confident that this piece of legislation presents a strong deterrent to persons who are involved in trafficking, diversion, manufacture, stockpiling, and movement of firearms, their parts, components, and ammunition.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is calling on training institutions to align their program offerings to match the needs of growing and emerging industries. The Prime Minister reasons that for there to be a continued decline in the unemployment rate, which currently stands at 6%, Jamaicans must be trained in areas where they are employable. Mr. Holness made the plea on Wednesday as he opened the St. John Bosco Vocational Training Centre in Manchester. The centre will be providing training and apprenticeship in several areas. These include culinary arts, agriculture, information technology, customer service and contact center, as well as office applications.
All of these are very important skills that serve, for example, the quick service industry, our hotel and hospitality industry, our BPO services. These are critical skills, and they are skills that are required in these expanding service areas. So today, it's a great day for the St. John Bosco Center, but it's also a great day for Jamaica.
565 gardens are being developed across primary and secondary schools to integrate and empower youth in farming. This is being carried out through the Jamaica 4-H Club's Garden in School initiative. Speaking at the JIS think tank on Wednesday, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. said 280 of them had been upgraded to climate and technology-smart gardens.
The gardens serve as a teaching and learning module to support the whole introduction of farming and the introduction of the biological sciences. We have some numbers that show that approximately 170 acres of land across those gardens is under vegetable and tuber production.
According to the minister, the initiative has an immediate impact on over 98,000 students. And finally, the Forestry Department has launched a national school tree planting competition that will award top honors to students who plant the most trees. The competition, which was launched on Wednesday, is open to students from the early childhood to tertiary levels. It is intended to bolster the island's national tree planting initiative, which aims to propagate 3 million trees in 3 years. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, says the competition will tap into the young people's competitive nature to engage them in environmental action.
This is an excellent initiative that acknowledges and recognizes the important role our schools have in making sure that our children are not just highly educated, but highly conscious of the role that they have within our society, within our country, and certainly within our world.
The National School Tree Planting Competition will see winning schools or students earning cash prizes of between $50,000 and $300,000. Trees planted and maintained under the competition must be submitted to the Forestry Department's 876 Trees mobile app or logged by email to fdinfo@forestry.gov.jm. Submissions must be made by February 28, 2023, with the official award ceremony to be held on March 21, 2023, the International Day of Forests. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Parents, guardians, educators, join Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness and Minister of Education and Youth the Honorable Favour Williams for a town hall under the theme Education Time for Action. Friday, September 9, starting at 5 p.m. at the Jamaica College Auditorium, 189 Old Hope Road. Join us on location or watch and share your questions and thoughts on the JI social media platforms. We want to hear from you.
After a 2-year hiatus, the Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show returned this year, and it did so with a bang. But don't take my word for it.
The 2022 Denby Agricultural Exhibition attracted a large crowd of attendees from all walks of life who came to participate, watch, and enjoy the festivities.
Denby 2022.
Farmers and fishers, the effort we're making here at the Grow Smart, Eat Smart Denby is for you, is about you, and is to make sure that you know that you are valued by the government of Jamaica and by the people of Jamaica.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and the Jamaica Agriculture Society JAS collaborated to encourage farmers, fishers, and youngsters to participate in the agro event to showcase Jamaica's best in the industry. Among the many highlights, the 2022 return of Denby witnessed the official launch of the ministry's Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Grow Smart, Eat Smart logo. Put your hands together.
The event's success was enthusiastically praised by Janet Pollen, Projects Marketing and Training Manager for the JAS.
Jamaica is reggae, Denby is agriculture, and so it impacts the lives of every farmer and the entire agriculture sector. One of the things that is very prominent here is that technology. Technology is the way forward, and a lot of our farmers and patrons who have come here have seen the significant work and the impact of technology and the agriculture sector. The other area is that a lot of young people are now gravitated to the agriculture sector. And one of the things that we have to recognize is that agriculture is not about just planting and just actual farming, but there's a wide gamut within the agriculture sector.
This event is also part of a national push to improve food security by reducing our reliance on foreign producers. The youth have answered that call by developing a Grow Smart system to help increase the country's output.
What I have here is one section showing a nursery room for a small plant, and the next section showing an hydroponic system for larger plant.
We are promoting sustainable agricultural technologies, and so we actually have incorporated the use of an aeroponic system with a solar panel, and we have actually automated. So what we are actually doing is monitoring for our fish tank the pH, the water level, the temperature, the dissolved solid, and whatever parameters that are out, we are able to automatically adjust. We also have a pump that is pumping to our aeroponics on a timer base.
We are actually in the Youth in Agriculture Village, and we are showcasing most of the products and the activities that we engage to promote the government's Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign.
We're actually displaying two skill areas. The first skill area is mechatronics, and the second skill area is mobile robotics. So mechatronics, the basics of it is that it deals with systems integration and process automation, while robotics deals with automation.
We are showcasing the three-dimension or cross-section of what would be going on inside of your beehive at home while you can't see. But here, you get the experience of seeing what is going on inside there.
Let us congratulate.
There are also competitions among the parishes. Patrons then sat in anticipation, waiting to hear the winner of the parish pavilions.
46 points. Let us congratulate the Clarendonians.
The livestock contest showcased the best in animal rearing. Prime Minister Andrew Holness presented 18-year-old Highgate student Angelique Chen with her trophy and a $500,000 check for winning the Youth in Agriculture competition. The newly crowned Farm Queen also made an appearance at the event.
I feel elated, I feel blessed, and I will definitely work extremely hard to uphold this title that was given to me. I want to stimulate interest for youth in agriculture. I also want to, rebrand agriculture to show it in a more positive light, and also to increase agricultural education throughout the entire Jamaica.
What can be said is that this year's Denby was nothing short of impressive, showcasing vegetables, small businesses, livestock, plant life, and people. Great things are the only thing we can anticipate for the future.
There were some aspects of Denby that we weren't able to do. So for example, you notice with the livestock, we never saw the massive cows that we are used to because we didn't have enough time to prepare them. But this Denby can stand on its own. It has been tremendous, the sort of success that we have seen. We intend to even do better. So come next year, Denby will be bigger and better.
The implementation of Jamaica's foreign policy, management of its international relations, and promotion of its interest abroad are all under the purview of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Our next feature will give you a sneak peek into that ministry through one of its top leaders, who's advancing the government's objective of enhancing the public sector.
Come in.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi
How
there.
are you?
Welcome. Good to have you. Welcome.
Tell us, what are your morning rituals?
I tend to get up very early in the mornings and to try to be at work early because our missions, we have them overseas, and because of the time difference, we really have to have an early start here in order to meet them at the better point in their day.
All right. And in one sentence, can you tell us what you do?
I'm the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and head of the Jamaican Foreign Service, and we have responsibility for the development, implementation, and management of Jamaica's foreign policy and relations.
Okay.
One moment.
No problem.
Yes. Yes. All right, no problem. I'll leave shortly.
Always busy, I see.
Never a dull moment, never a dull moment. So much to do.
What was the most difficult decision for you this week, and why was it difficult?
It is not only for this week, I always have difficult decisions. I have a rapidly changing agenda, and very often I have to just shift course and not be able to meet with staff, which would be on my agenda. And I find that is something that I really miss not being able to do. And but it is the nature of the job. Hi, Andrea. How are you? Thank you so much, and thanks for your work. Yes, and we just have to live with the very fast-paced nature of this job and hope for understanding for the staff, and they have been good.
Has anyone or anything made you feel inspired lately?
I take quite a bit of inspiration on a Saturday morning when I walk up Mountain Spring. I see people of all kinds, shapes, size, ages, and they are pressing on. It's a really very demanding track, and just seeing them and see their fortitude and their courage and just their persistence, and I have found that encouraging. It also teaches a valuable lesson because I learned that it takes a long time to climb to the top, but you can come down even in just about half the time. So it means that you have to be really very careful and thoughtful about how you conduct yourself and your work. Good to see you.
What would you like your legacy in the public sector to be?
I'd really like to help to build the conviction about the pursuit of excellence. We need a tradition of excellence in the public service, and I hope that I can contribute to instill that in those who are working with me and around me.
Where's the most interesting place your work has taken you?
I have been to many countries, but I have to say, only because it is the smallest country I've been to, Monaco. Really very interesting rock, if one could call it that, and the corner of Europe, and I have found it to be quite delightful.
Before we go, I'd love for you to recommend one book you think everyone should read.
I don't have one book. I have one type of book. Autobiographies and biographies. I think there is something about being inspired by the stories of others. So if you think of persons, J.J. Mills, Edna Manley, Barack Obama, Nelson Mandela, and all that you can learn about life from their own stories, that I find very inspiring. And that is what I would recommend. We just take the time to see how others have been inspired to live their own lives. That's what I would recommend.
All right, thank you so much, Sheila. Have a good one.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for coming.
To deal with crime and violence, we must be united. Please cooperate with the security forces. Call 311-119 or the JDF tip line. If you know something and you not talk, you're a part of the problem.
Queen Elizabeth II was born Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary on April 21, 1926 in London to Prince Albert, Duke of York, later King George VI, and his wife, formerly Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. Her Majesty was just 25 when she acceded to the throne. Queen Elizabeth celebrated her Diamond Jubilee in 2012, making her one of Britain's longest-serving monarchs. In 1936, the course of Elizabeth's life changed with the death of her grandfather, King George V. Her uncle became King Edward VIII, but he only ruled for 6 months. He was in love with an American socialite, Wallis Simpson. He chose her over the crown. Elizabeth's father was next in line. He became King George VI on December 11, 1936. Appointed Colonel-in-Chief of the Grenadier Guards by her father, Elizabeth made her first public appearance inspecting the troops in 1942. She also began to accompany her parents on official visits within Great Britain. In 1945, Elizabeth joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service to help in the war effort. She trained side by side with other British women to be an expert driver and mechanic. Elizabeth first met Philip Mountbatten, son of Prince Andrew of Greece, when she was only 13. She loved him instantly. They made an unusual pair. Elizabeth was quiet and reserved, while Philip was boisterous and outspoken. They got married in 1947. The couple had 4 children: Prince Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. On February 6, 1952, King George VI died, and Elizabeth took on the responsibilities as the ruling monarch. Her official coronation took place in June 1953 in Westminster Abbey. Queen Elizabeth held weekly meetings with the country's prime minister, starting with Winston Churchill and every leader after him. As head of the Commonwealth, she traveled extensively, journeying to Jamaica over 5 times. Since Jamaica's independence, the Princess Royal has presided over the opening of Parliament on 2 occasions.
This Parliament has been one of the significant institutions for the fashioning and strengthening of your democratic society.
Queen Elizabeth also made groundbreaking visits to other countries as a representative of Britain, including her historic visit to West Berlin at the height of the Cold War. The Queen also went to Germany, becoming the first monarch to tour the country since World War I. The head of state saw the monarchy come under several attacks during her lifetime, including death threats against the royal family and murder. Still, she maintained her quiet strength and ruled with dignity and grace. With the influence and demands of the 20th and 21st centuries, Queen Elizabeth modernized the monarchy. She dropped some of its formalities and made some of its sights and treasures more accessible to the public. She also welcomed the elimination of the civil list, which was a public funding system of the monarchy dating back 250 years. Her Majesty handled 430 engagements each year and supported more than 600 charitable organizations and programs. We pay homage to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II.
We've come to the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our website at gis.gov.jm. From all of us here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.